By Bike. Welcome to episode 13 of Worcester By Bike. It's a beautiful afternoon here on the Common. Today we're going to go right up the street to the Peace Park at Pleasant and Winslow Streets. It's one of the most interesting parks in the city. It's one of the newest and one of the smallest. We're also going to meet with a few of the people who made it happen. So come along. Opened in 2008, Pleasant and Winslow Peace Park sits on the site of the former Winslow Street School, which was destroyed in a fire in 1978, a year after it had closed. The lot sat vacant for more than 30 years until a group called Women Together worked with the city to secure the overgrown parcel and turn it into a welcoming space dedicated to peace. I met with members of Women Together at the park to talk about how a grassroots group was able to shepherd it through to completion and turn tragedy into action.
We went through a really bad time in this neighborhood where young people were involved in some real violent activity, and young people lost their lives. And there was a particular tragedy around Nanette Davis's son, Carlos. And it was very sad. It was like a West Side Story kind of thing. They were friends that had a falling out, and it was almost like a rumble kind of thing. But anyway, it wasn't just that. There were a number of them that happened. That Nanette Davis really spoke out at the vigil for her son, and she challenged the women in this neighborhood. Like, what are we doing? Why aren't we watching out for each other? Why aren't we having a little more control? And so that challenge resonated with a few women. And about a year after her son died, we started having coffee at the Network Center and just talking and building relationships. And the group kind of grew. We wanted to be a voice that could really bring a message of nonviolence to any situation in the city that we felt was a real sad and to be avoided kind of situation, you know. So we had our banners and we turn out for candlelight vigils. And I think eventually having coffee wasn't enough, and there was enough trust in the group that they felt like, let's do something. And I think it was an Earth Day that we ended up cleaning, starting at this site, at the empty lot on Winslow Street. And then from there, some folks that were involved just said, this is ours, and we want to take it and make it a symbol of respect and reversing some of the negatives that really kind of haunt this part of the city.
Dogs would poop in the park and everything, and we found out later, years ago, it used to be a school, so a bunch of us came together and see what we could do to clean it up or buy it, whichever came first. So we did a combination of both.
It didn't work for a little while, and then the group received a grant from the Urban Ecology Institute to do a design process on what could it be like to really build a park on this land. And that process was with 2 graduate students, and the community did like 4 or 5 participatory workshops. The group worked with the city and the state to get funding to be able to make it work after that.
It just was like, I don't know, can we really do it? And piece by piece by piece, it just began to come together. It was, in a way, kind of like a miracle that it happened as quickly as it did, and as easily in a way. But it did mean, it just, people worked together really well on it, and we kind of stayed with our idea that it ought to be a peace park.
It was just a good experience, a good time to be in this neighborhood and work with other women in the neighborhood, and because people cared. The people we were with cared about the neighborhood. We all lived here.
There are a few surprises, like these rocks that came out of when they excavated the ground and found the foundation of the school was still there. They became elements of the park, but most of the things that you see were very deliberately done.
Because we got the grant, we were told we would have to partner with the city
Yeah.
which was, you know, because they were going to own it,
Yeah.
but we were going to maintain it. And so we did a memorandum of understanding, but it was hard because they would not sit down with us. Yeah, it was tough going, if you ask Anne. Yeah, we finally got angry enough that we, you know, gave them, we made all kinds of phone calls and got them to listen to us, and they finally came to us and sat down with us.
I come around occasionally, and every time I've come, it looks great. And I'm really, you know, surprised that people really get involved with keeping this park nice.
Anything that we see here today that was particularly, you know, that people were adamant that it be included in the park, or is there anything that
Every single thing.
Yeah.
It was a really interesting process because people felt so passionately about it that everything down to the species of trees, the color of the concrete, the tables that are over there, everything was part of this consensus process that the group went through, where the garden is, how all of this was discussed and talked about at length.
What's your favorite part of the park?
I don't know. I love this particular corner because it sort of is set back in this nice way where you kind of feel. I love these trees. I like the aspens.
We had a plaque, and someone stole it.
Oh.
Yeah, for the medal.
So it goes.
So we don't even have a plaque up, and people don't know who we are anymore. But we're gonna, you know, we should work on that
Be the
and
next
get
project.
the plaque. Yes.
And so we took on a really, really big project, you know, that required a lot from everybody, and required a lot from our neighbors as well, because we wanted this to be a real grassroots effort and real in terms of many people feeling like they had a piece of it, you know. It's the Peace Park for us, and it just feels really nice to be here today, you know, kind of remembering all the work that went into this. I just love driving by and seeing people using the park. It's really nice. We've had some challenges, and our group isn't really together anymore. But I think for this part of the city, just even sitting here today, feels like what a great thing.